Hello and welcome to ORL Tier 1 Round 9 at the Canadian Grand Prix this afternoon. I'm your host, JMan075, and it is lovely to be back in the commentary box this afternoon for what is sure to be a very intriguing race once again here in Tier 1. And should be a great qualifying session to go with it. It's a lovely sunny afternoon out in Montreal. As we know, it can get quite wet around this track, but skies look pretty nice at the moment, although there's a bit of cloud cover, but it looks all clear at this stage. So should be set for a nice, quick, dry qualifying for Tier 1, which I'm sure all the drivers will be pumped about. The race is another story. In Tier 2, we did have a dry qualifying, but we had a wet race, which was a very interesting one. It was dry for the first half, wet for the second half. It was a real challenge for the drivers. PS Bomber got the win in that one, who's currently watching along the stream. Welcome to you. It's great to have you. And the Tier 2 championship leader extending their lead by a fair distance after the win today, as Clammy Kids invalidated his first lap. In fact, a lot of drivers have invalidated their first lap. We'll go on board with Glob Trip. But in terms of the Tier 1 standings, it's Lord Mahavir in the Ferrari who leads the way, followed by Tata, Zonix and SV. Zonix and SV both not racing today, so a great chance for Lord Mahavir and Tata to pull away from the rest of the pack this afternoon. So we'll see if they are able to do that. As Glob Drip just invalidated there. He bumped into the wall there, so this lap won't count for him, unfortunately. We've already seen a lot of drivers invalidate their first runs. Not the greatest of signs. Grateful Dog, the first one to complete their lap. It's a 1:10.2. Aiden is not going to really touch that. As PS Bomber mentioned, Zonix out for a couple races. So RB, they have been struggling in the last couple of races ever since losing Abyss, and Lord Mahavir absolutely blows the best time out of the water there with a 1:08.9. RB have been struggling the last couple of weeks. They have a very comfortable lead in the Tier 1 Constructors and the overall Constructors, but with the loss of Abyss and now the loss of Zonix for a couple of weeks, this could really open it up for the likes of McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes to get involved here. Unfortunately, only the one Mercedes car in today. They had a really good chance of a 1-2 finish today, but PS Bomber and Broadstar spoiled that party. And Broadstar came back and finished second, his best result of the season in Tier 2 as well, so he'll be pretty pumped about that. We'll have a look at the reigning race winner, though. This carrying RB's hopes on his shoulders is Campbell Adams. Picked up the full allotment of points last week and is absolutely flying into this championship race if he can continue his form. But we do also have Noodles in this lobby, who has done one race and come second, but we know about his pace. And I'm sure it's going to be a very competitive race today. There's a lot of quick drivers in here. So expecting only the best of quality as we watch Campbell Adams through the first sector. A bit of a snap there as he makes his way through. He set a really slow banker lap there. Tata looks like he's having some internet woes, so we'll try and get him back. I'll be going in a minute, but yeah, we'll have a quick look at the Constructors' Championship while we're on board here. 24 seconds up on the Delta. And wasn't the best chicane there from the RB, so just a little bit loose on his banker lap. So he flies down now with DRS. Meanwhile, thank you all for joining along with the stream this afternoon. Chuck your race predictions in. We've got a really open lobby today as round goes Campbell Adams. He looked a bit loose all lap long, and it's finally come unstuck for him there. In the chat, if you want to have a crack at who's going to win this one, I think it's a very open field today. It really could be absolutely anyone, so it's going to be interesting to see as we watch Apex Stig, who's about to finish their first lap, goes bang into the wall. Somehow keeps it, the lap valid though, and crossed the line for a 1:11.1. Nicely done by the Red Bull. Type N TJ invalidated. See if we can catch anyone on their second laps. Everyone is either down or invalidated except for Kuistra. He's had a good start. Meanwhile, Lord Mahavi has still got an 8/10 gap to the nearest competitor. PS Bombers chucked in his predictions. He reckons Campbell Adams, Noodles, and then Lord Mahavir. So it's going to be really interesting. I feel like my tip today is going to be Noodles. Just we know his driving ability is extremely high at his best, so I'm backing him in today. But Campbell Adams, obviously, last week's winner, has a lot of momentum, as does Mahavir and the Ferrari, who's currently leading the way in the championship. So there's a case to make for pretty much every driver in the field here, as Kuistra's been on a pretty decent lap here so far. Coming to the line now, and it's in the 109s. A 109.8 puts him in P3. Be pretty happy with that, the new full-time Red Bull driver. Impressing his boss Apex Stig, and Globdrip, the one who got dropped for Kuistra, is also racing today. So we'll be hoping to prove his old team principal wrong on the track today. And ZDeck's former full-time driver coming into reserve today is on his lap in the first sector. A pretty good first sector, a 19.6. Just goes over the curve there. It's very difficult, the early stages of the Canada track, especially in this game. At least personally, I feel like it's lifted up a notch in its difficulty, especially with the curbs. Can be quite a challenge, but the drivers have manoeuvred it well so far. ZDeck's showing up as purple on the screen, but I doubt it. He goes quite deep into that chicane. And now the two very long straights, where most drivers will be running pretty high downforce setups, and you can see ZDex is pretty much all out of battery, so he's really going to be struggling towards the end of this lap. And he takes that corner pretty well, actually. He's going to come to the line now. Pretty decent run, a 1:10.6 puts him in P10 as he slams into the wall at the end of the lap. And now let's have a look at one of our contenders, Noodles. That was 6/10 faster than ZDex through the first sector, so we're going to see something quite impressive here from the Alpine, I think. And speaking of Alpine, currently 9th in the Tier 1 Constructors standings, so can Noodles and Type N TJ find a way to really lift their team through it? Got a question, is it on PC? It is on all platforms. Cross-platform is ORL, which is very handy, so anyone who has the game is able to join the league and have a go. So if you are interested, definitely make sure to check it out. It's good fun. And we've got Noodles now flying down towards the final chicane in what looks to be quite a good lap. And he's got the DRS open, and this is going to be pretty impressive. It's going to be a 108.6, 3/10 clear of Lord Mahavir in the Ferrari. And Noodles showing why he is one of the fastest drivers around. And it's good to see that you are going to join the Discord, so it'll be awesome to see you there. Type N TJ, the other Alpine. It's an Alpine sandwich is the pack at the moment. Type N are hoping to change that now with this lap, as I'll try and get Tartar back in. He seems to have lagged out again, so obviously having some pretty major issues at the moment. Here we go, Type N TJ through the middle sector. So we're just over halfway gone in this qualifying session. 3 drivers yet to set a lap, and this is one of them. Should be able to change that now. And just looking up and down the field at the moment, Martin in 10th place. Not exactly where he want to be. He had a good race last week out at Austria, but not the best start in qualifying. So hopefully he can find his way through. Campbell's looking good. I think that might be a sarcastic comment as Type N crosses the line and moves into 5th place. So Alpine with a pretty good start so far. Campbell Adams, speak of the devil, last week's race winner. We're going to watch him along now. His first lap looked very unsettled, so we'll see if he's able to find his groove here, and still not quite looking on top of it through the first couple corners there. It's a 1:19.5 his best lap, but that did have a spin. So we'll see. This has looked a fair bit better, although still not quite as good. Noodles' first sector was a 19 flat. That was a 20 flat. So DRS open now. And a very scratchy start for the RB here. And now we'll be coming up to the big hairpin. Can catch a lot of drivers out here. Still only 2/10 up on his time, so probably not going to challenge the top of the timing screens, but as long as he keeps it together through the final chicane, it should come out to be a relatively decent lap. You can see pretty close throughout the mid to lower pack of the field. Everyone from 9th down to the 110s, and then a number in the 109s as well. So Campbell Adams is still going to remain slowest of all the times so far with a 1:11.5, which is not fantastic for the race winner last week, but still plenty of time to go on the session. As I need to invite some people back. Whoops. Alright, let's have a look at Globdrip now. One of the two remaining drivers. Oh, no, invalidated their lap, so no good for Globdrip. Still 5 minutes to go. He's got to get a wriggle on. Let's have a look at Clammy Kid, though. He's looked pretty good. 3/10 up on his lap. An improvement in the final sector could see him in the top 4 here. And here he goes down the straight, DRS open. And that was taken pretty nicely by Clammy Kid in the McLaren. Let's see when he gets to the line. Should be well in the 109s here. It's a fantastic lap. A 109.3, 7/10 faster than the previous banker. And puts him in P4 and in a pretty comfortable spot at the moment. So he'll be pretty happy with that. Com United invalidated on his lap. He's down in P11. So, interesting qualifying so far. We've seen a bit of a mix of performances. Tata, unfortunately, usually a qualifying beast, hasn't even been able to get out on the track yet due to his lag issues. Hopefully they subside and we can finally see him in action. So, just to talk about the overall constructors, as I briefly mentioned before, it's RB in the lead by 135 points, which is quite significant, but as we know, plenty of time left in the season, and with 2 tiers, if you have one bad weekend, all of a sudden that lead can really disappear. So it's McLaren in second, and then Mercedes another 40 behind them. So pretty close between the top 3, but RB still got that comfortable lead. It's just with the current qualifying, they have their 12th and 14th, and they only managed a P8 in tier 2 today. So it could be nervous times for Zonix and his team. But we've got 3 minutes left in today's qualifying session. Martin up to P8, but he's invalidated this one. Com United coming to the line has had an improvement as well. This could send him a fair way up the standings. And it doesn't. He actually must have had a poor last sector there. So in the 110 zeros, it's quite tight between 5th down to 12th at the moment, only 4/10, so really could raffle out any of those positions. And we'll see if we can find anyone on a flyer. Another couple drivers have invalidated. Let's go to the front though. Who's closest to starting a lap? It looks like it is the championship leader and the Ferrari driver Mahavir now, who might be able to get a little bit of a tow from his teammate. He's a little bit further up the road. And we'll watch him in action. Noodles not too far behind. Grateful Dog is in a good spot as well in P3. He's about to start his final run, but we'll go on board with the Ferrari now. Pretty comfortable looking turn 1, 2 there. The Alpine stays to the inside of him. And you can see going right to the limit and had a big slide, and he's going to pull out of that one. He knows he's got another chance, but he was really going for it on that lap. He knew he had nothing to lose, and he's going to have one more chance to get around the track. So thankfully for him. And now we'll keep our eye on Noodles, the current pole sitter by 3/10. Can he make it an even bigger advantage at the moment? Front two pretty far ahead of the rest of the pack at the moment, really setting the standard. As here we go, DRS open, and Noodles is off down the main straight. He's got the Kick Sauber of Grateful Dog in front of him in P3, setting a lap as well. Hopefully they don't get too close together. Pretty good opening start here for Noodles, and he flies into that downhill right-hander. Back to the left, a big slide. Nearly collects the wall there, and he's getting oh so close to the wall as well. He's slightly down through the first sector. So he's got a bit of work to do now. The second of the DRS zones now for Noodles. And he's getting maybe a slight slipstream or a bit of dirty air. Could be a combination of both. And running wide and a spin, and that's his wing gone and his qualifying over. So Noodles has opened it right up, and the Ferrari of Lord Mahavir now has a chance to respond and maybe snatch pole off Noodles, as Campbell Adams has retired on the track as well. So last week's race winner, no better than 14th on the grid. That is absolutely critical at the moment. And the door is now wide open for the Ferrari, who's matched his first sector time. He's going to need to find 3/10 over the rest of the lap. It's going to have to be very, very good and on the limit from the Ferrari here towards the end. Grateful Dog finishes P3. He did improve, but not enough. Z-Deck standing P11th, and Tata unfortunately didn't get out on the track in time. So no real major threats for the Ferrari at the moment. And look at that gaining through the middle sector. It's 1.5 tenths for the Ferrari driver, and now he's going to have a nice little slipstream as well here from the RB. And this could be vital for his pole position chances. And look at this. Look at the slipstream is really helping him out now. I think it's Oscar Piastri Goat that's doing that. And now here he goes. He's taking the final chicane well. He's a real chance here to the line now. It's going to be oh so close. And he's just missed it by under a tenth. Noodles takes pole position. But what a finish. Aiden across the line with an improvement as well, but stays in P5. And he did everything he could there, did Lord Mahavir, including getting a massive tow down the straight. But it just wasn't enough to knock Noodles off. He didn't even get his final run in, and he's still been able to hold pole position. That was sensational work from the Alpine driver. And what a session we have had. And just looking up and down the field here, Grateful Dog has had a very good qualifying to finish P3. He'll be pumped about that. But Tata has unfortunately left again, and his internet issues are still getting in the way. So that's a big shame for him. But what an interesting race we have ahead of us. Can anyone challenge Noodles up the front? It looks like he is really on top at the moment. Clammy Kid also the great qualifying in 4th. Oscar Piastri Goat came up to 6th towards the end. And then Coistra Globtrip, who has come out of nowhere right at the end as well. And Taipan TJ and Sun round out the top 10. Martin and Apex Stig missed out. So they will have some work to do in the race as well. And going to be a very interesting race ahead of us indeed here. Aston Martin's with a poor qualifying 14th and 16th. Obviously no SV today. And looks like it's hurting them just a little bit for the moment. So if you haven't already, chuck your race predictions in the chat. Is anyone going to be able to knock Noodles off? I think he has it in the bag for the moment, but you never know what can happen in ORL. Nice, clear, sunny afternoon as well again for the race, so the drivers will be pretty pumped about that. But I think Noodles will be the hot favourite for the race today. His second for the season. Someone's just chucked in the chat they still think that Campbell could win, despite being down in, I think it's about P12, or maybe even P14. So he's going to be doing well to come back from there. But we'll find out now. Lights coming on for round 9 ORL Tier 1, and we are underway here. Good start for Lord Mahavir. Good enough start for Noodles to fend him off as well. And round the outside goes Clammy Kid and Grateful Dog. We had a lot of drivers leave the session, so might be some sort of glitch, but we'll check that in a minute. And Clammy Kid runs over the grass there, just manages to keep control. There's been a bit of front wing loss, it looks like, towards the middle of the field. And there's a big pack starting to form, but Noodles has held the lead into the first lap of the race here. And Campbell Adams had a good start up to 9th as well. So a lot going on here off the start. You can see, Campbell Adams up 6 places. Aiden down 9. Apex Dig down 3. I think they're both out of the session, so I'll try and invite them back really quick. As we continue on now towards the end of lap 1, the Ferrari is gaining on Noodles here. And will he get a chance down into turn 1? It doesn't look like a great exit out of the final chicane for Noodles there, and he should be able to hold on to that spot. And starting on the medium tyres, we will have a look at the tyre compounds. Every driver on the mediums, and Martin's into the pits on lap 1, so must have picked up some damage of some sort, and that is not the greatest start for him. But Campbell Adams is now flying through the field, and he's up to P8, and now could be P7 on Type Ed TJ. They go wheel to wheel, and he looks like he's just got it. Yes, he has. Nicely done there. Zdex already has a penalty for multiple warnings. Globtrip now trying to go down the inside of Type Ed TJ, and he can't quite do it. And I'll reinvite Stig once again. And there we go. So Noodles has pulled a 1.5 second gap already to the Ferrari, but he's got Clammy Kid right on his hammer. Good battle here, though, between Globdrip and Type Ed TJ. Globdrip switches to the inside and goes, breaks late down the inside, a little bit of contact, and the McLaren to Zdex as well, making a move on Sun. And we've got a huge pack forming now. 2 cars going wheel to wheel. The Aston Martin are Com United looking interested towards the back as well. Everyone's got DRS as well, and Globtrip has the position. Wheel to wheel go Zdex, and straight on goes Type Ed TJ into the pits. He's got wing damage, and Zdex is out at the chicane as well, and a safety car has come out, and that is Aiden who's coming straight into the pits, and as well as Type Ed TJ, who's had really good timing here because he's pitted right on the safety car, but it looks like Noodles just beat it out, so he won't be too disadvantaged by that. And we'll try and get Tata back in now as well. We've got a few drivers with internet issues at the moment. So Zdex, unfortunately, the first driver out of this one. And now a few drivers on hard tyres, so Type N, TJ, Martin and Aiden all playing the long game. How long are those hard tyres going to last? They can probably go most of the way from here, but probably not the most optimal strategy. And while the medium tyres still have plenty of life left in them, you can see most of the drivers are going to stay out under this safety car, just wanting a bit of track position. So there's your position changes. Campbell Adams absolutely flying. So whoever predicted him for the win will be feeling pretty good. He's going to be right back in this one. A few drivers have come into the pits. Globtrip changing his wing. Com United coming in as well for a wing change. Tata coming in for just another wing change as well, possibly. We'll see. But that double stack is going to slow him right down. Yeah, just going to be a standard pit stop for Tata there. And Sun was in the pits as well. He's back out on the track. So the bottom half of the field have all pitted now. Pretty much all onto the hard tyres. So They're going to try and play that long run game, while the front runners are just going to try and get as far away as they possibly can. So not the cleanest of starts for Tier 1. Safety car on lap 3. And we've got about just over 30 laps to navigate now. Noodles looking very strong up front as well, so I'll be surprised if anyone's able to track him down, considering how easily he was able to get away. Apex Stig with a good start as well, up 4 places. And Aiden's down 9, but I think he's not in the lobby at the moment. How's my day going? Yeah, it's been good. Just been organising the league. It's what we usually do on a Sunday. Yeah, pretty quiet Tier 2 race, but it was actually pretty good quality. The last few races in ORL have been pretty decent driving standards wise. They've improved quite a bit in the last few weeks, which is good to see. Not as many reports, so the stewards don't have to do as much work. Grateful Dog in the chat. Great start for him as well, or not a great start, but he's pretty much held position in P4. Good qualifying. So we'll see how that'll go. PS Bomber saying, yeah, the Tier 2 race was hectic towards the end, which obviously I was a fair way behind, so I wouldn't have seen that. Yeah, so well done, PS Bomber, for winning that hectic race. It must have been pretty tense towards the front. It looked like a pretty big 4-car battle. But I think I was just about almost a lap down. My goal was to just not get lapped the whole time, which is yeah, it wasn't my race, especially in the rain as well. Not great in the rain at all. So safety car in this lap. We'll get back to the action that is on our screens at the moment, and everyone swerving around. Noodles staying dead straight. It's like that Kimi Räikkönen video where he just doesn't move, but here he goes. He's off now, I think. No, he's not. He's kind of slowed down here a little bit, so he's going to wait right to the line. Someone's lost a bit of front wing. It looks like a kick Sauber front wing, and off we go. Good restart for Noodles. And a tight battle behind Grateful Dog and Campbell Adams going wide. So it must have been Sun that's lost the front wing, because it looks like Grateful Dog's still got a wing intact. And Coestra now has picked up 3 seconds, so a couple drivers have those penalties now. And Noodles with a very solid start, all looking relatively clean at this stage. We're seeing Noodles has nearly already pulled out the second to Lord Mahavir, so really showing his dominance at the moment. Mart currently making a move on Sun up into 10th, and Apex Stig is losing a position to Taipan TJ. Campbell Adams is making his way. He's lost an end plate though, up into 5th, so that is going to hurt his chances quite a bit, but a little bit less downforce, so he's going to be a lot faster on those straights now, and he's chasing down Grateful Dog down towards the final chicane. And you can see the effects of the front wing damage really showing it as Coestra is now fighting back, trying to take that 5th spot back from Campbell Adams. Can't quite do it though. And Grateful Dog holding on to that 4th, as now Sun and Glodrip coming to the pits, assumingly to change their wings. And yeah, Globdrit with the wing change as well. So we'll get back to the battles at hand. Campbell Adams fighting hard with that wing change. He's up 10 positions in this race, so it's been really good so far, but how is he going to handle that front wing damage? It's really going to hurt him through the corners now. But Grateful Dog is still within reach here. 2/10 and closing. Is he going to try and make a move into P4 now? He looks to the inside. He breaks late. He goes for it. Charging is the RB. Grateful Dog leaves in the room. And now they come out pretty nip and tuck. But Campbell Adams staying ahead for now. Grateful Dog has the DRS. They both do, in fact. And with the extra downforce, Campbell Adams able to pull away. And now into the final corner, gets a great run, and now could have a crack at Clammy Kid in third place. So the end plate damage not slowing him down at all. In fact, he set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. So maybe the front wing damage even helped him out a little bit, as Lord Mahavir as well. Looks like he might have damage, and he does. He does have an end plate missing as well. So that Ferrari in trouble at the moment. And as you can see, losing time to Noodles, 2 seconds, and this is allowing him to fly away. So Clammy Kid will be really wanting to clear this Ferrari before Campbell Adams gets in front, and then he'll have 2 damaged cars in front, which is definitely not what he would want in the early stages of this race. We're only on lap 8 as Campbell Adams continues his charge, and Oscar Piastri Goat making his way past Coister. He's had a moment and he's down in 8th, and he's lost an end plate. End plates are flying at the moment in Tier 1. I think we've had at least 10 already. And now here we go. The DRS about to open up for Clammy Kid and for Campbell Adams. They're going to be flying after Lord Mahavir now. He's going to defend, and Clammy Kid's going to charge down the inside now, and they've both cut the chicane. Clammy Kid's got 3 seconds, and Campbell Adams makes his way through on the Ferrari. Now can he make his way through on the McLaren? Could it be 2 in 1 straight? Yes, it can. Can he hold it? Clammy Kid trying to hold around the outside, turning it into the inside line. Great defence from the McLaren. The better downforce, the higher downforce was just able to help him there, but the RB is not pulling out yet. And, it was a tight turn for Clammy Kid, and he just manages to hold on. This is a great little bit of racing between the two of them. Campbell Adams has to give that one up. Clammy Kid has a big slide on the exit though, and all of a sudden he's allowed back into the contest. DRS open. This should be an easy move. As in the background, Grateful Dog is out of the race. He's had a big crash, and into the wall you can see the tyres underneath the car. Campbell Adams got that move done moments before the safety car was out, but Grateful Dog now out of the race. I'm not sure who that incident was with. And that was incredible stuff. But Grateful Dog, unfortunately, the momentum of this race is going to be stopped for the moment, as Grateful Dog now out of the race, unfortunately. He was having a great race as well. He qualified P3. He was right up there from the start as well. As into the pits comes Noodles, who has a 5-second gap. And this will allow Lord Mahavir and Campbell Adams to get their wings changed, which is absolutely crucial, as Taipan TJ stays out, presumably to help his teammate or to avoid the double stack, one of the two. So Lord Mahavir is going to change his wing. Martin stays out because he doesn't want to get held up by that pit stop. And who else needs to get their wing changed? Campbell Adams. We'll see if he got his wing changed. No. He's kept the broken wing, which is a risk. It saves him probably a position. And comes out in P5. So Taipan TJ, Martin and Com United have decided to stay out, and that's probably because they're all on hard tyres. Yep. Could have guessed that one, but yeah, so it's worked out on track. They are in the lead, but obviously with much older tyres, it's going to be very difficult to hang on to those positions, but we'll see what they can do. Technically, the front three don't have to pit for the rest of the race. So Noodles might have a bit of a task on his hands. One of the 3 cars is his teammate, so that should help him a little bit, and I don't think he'll have too much trouble passing through. Clammy Kid did pick up that 3 seconds on that attempted move on Lord Mahavir, which unfortunately they ended up both cutting the track, and Clammy Kid got a 3-second penalty, so not the greatest result for the McLaren there. As Sun is now retired on the track there. And that is another double DNF for Kick Sauber, and their season going from bad to worse at the moment. Although their tier 1's actually not bad in the overall constructors. They're 7th. And this is definitely not going to help their prospects, as they've got Red Bull and Haas behind them as well, who are both scoring points, albeit not many. But they do have cars in the race at this stage. So safety car's out. Globtrip, the only car not caught up to the pack yet, so it'll either be 1 or 2 more laps. Every driver now on the hard tyres. No one is obliged to pit until the end of the race, so we'll see what happens, and we'll have a look at position changes once again. So those front 3 benefiting from that pit stop at the first safety car. Campbell Adams has made all those positions up on the track though, which is very nicely done. So Globtrip just might fall short of catching that safety car. Oh, he might get there. He does. Safety car in this lap. So we're able to get going once again. We're about a third of the way through this one. Taipan TJ leading the way from Martin and Com United. And then it's going to be Noodles, the man who's on pole and has been leading all the laps so far until now. And he's left. That is extremely poor timing. I'll try and get him back as soon as possible. He's not on the list, so we'll try and get that sorted quickly. But in the meantime, the restart is going, and now the race complexion has changed as Taipan TJ is still waiting, and off he goes now. And that's the strategy at Canada, to just do that as quickly as possible. And now Campbell Adams charges down the inside, and he gets the position into P3. He goes, and ahead of Noodles, who's still in AI for the moment, but he's rejoined, so hopefully he fixes that pretty quickly. But Com United's already lost a place to Campbell Adams, who's now on the box seat, albeit without a front wing. And now he goes again here, trying to attack Martin, who's defending that outside line only just. And there was another 3-second penalty. I didn't see who it was for. Maybe it was for Piastri Goat. And Taipan TJ still holding that lead for the moment. But Noodles all the way down in 8th spot. So hopefully he's able to recover. And it's been a very unfortunate timing for the internet there. As here goes Campbell Adams now down the inside of Martin, making a big move here into P2. These are older tyre runners, but without the front wing end plate, it's going to make it a little bit more challenging. He does make his way through, but Martin is going to fight him back now into the final chicane. But just the speed down the straights is way too much for him at the moment. And now he's going to be attacking the leader of Taipan TJ. He's going to try and hold firm for his teammate Noodles, who's a fair way down, and now DRS back online again. And Noodles making a double overtake, maybe a triple overtake, and he's, big slide, but he's able to get it through. And now he is on the charge back. He's in 5th place, is the Alpine, and he needs his teammate to do a real job for him here. But Campbell Adams has been able to cut underneath. Taipan still defending hard. We know he's a quality driver. Kenny put it on display here and continued to defend the RB, but it looks like it might be short-lived because he's got the DRS now. But Martin is also in the mix here. Campbell Adams, is he going to go for it around the outside? He is, but that hasn't helped him. He's picked up a 3-second, and now Martin is coming back at the RB. So Taipan really doing an important job here, and there's a little bit of wheel bumping, and Martin is trying to get that place back, and this has allowed Clemmy Kid, and Noodles is right back in this race. He is not far behind the RB at all. So here we go now. Taipan is going to be a sitting duck here now, though, but Martin is right there behind the RB. He's going to make a move. Taipan's lost 2 places. And now down into turn 1. Is Martin close enough? I don't think so. So Campbell Adams finally into the lead of this race, but it has cost him a great amount of time. And now there is pressure from Clammy Kid down the inside of Taipan TJ on fresh tyres as well. And Taipan just able to hold him off. And Noodles is right in the mix here, only about 2 seconds off the lead. So it didn't cost him too much. And now Martin's picked up a 3-second. Looks like just about everyone is, as Koistra picks up another one. I think that's 6 for him now. Noodles down the inside of Clammy Kid. Tries to give it a go, but didn't have enough there. And Lord Mahavir with a new front wing is just behind as well in P6. So rejuvenated and re-involved in this race. And it is game on here as Campbell Adams has that 3-second penalty. But he is starting to pull away from Martin, who's just within the DRS range. And now Noodles on the charge back. Here he goes down the inside. He's got the position off Clammy Kid. And he's about to start firing right back into this one. You'd suspect his teammate is going to make it relatively easy for him. But he's not close enough at this stage. And Taipan ahead. He's chasing down Martin. Could make a move into P2 here, possibly. And we're on lap 14, just about to enter lap 15. As here goes Taipan, having a look down the inside. He doesn't want to hold his teammate up too much, though. And we'll see what kind of teamwork is on display. They are battling for position, Martin and Taipan TJ. And Noodle's getting really close. Hopefully the Alpines are able to work this out. As Campbell Adams now increases his lead to 1.4 seconds. Every moment that Noodles is stuck behind is going to hurt. Taipan has a really good run on Martin. He gets through, and Noodles is going to try and get through on Martin as well. But Martin defends that strongly. He doesn't want both Alpines to get through in one go there. That would have been incredible if they were able to pull that off. But now Noodles has a great run into the chicane, decides not to go for it, but Clammy Kid does and has a bit of contact with Noodles while making an overtake on Lord Mahavir. They're now wheel to wheel, and a big snap from the Ferrari. He's managed to keep it back under control, and now is going to be flying alongside, but that has hurt Noodles there. And look at Oscar Piastri goat round the outside. He was able to get both of them into the final chicane. The speed down the straights was immense. And now here goes Noodles on Martin as well. Martin going to try and defend it again. Noodles does have that inside line. Martin gives him not much space at all to work with. But Noodles keeps the car in there and the battle continues. But Martin just has a car length ahead and Noodles is going to have to pull out of that one. But he's going to get a really good exit through this corner. And now through the first sector, he's going to try and catch up to him. He can't do it though just yet, and now Lord Mahavir gets back past Piastri Goat, who made that incredible move just before, and the race is really starting to heat up. But every second that Noodles is stuck behind is another moment that Campbell Adams pulls further away. He's now got that 3-second buffer, so Noodles is being frustrated at the moment behind Martin. Is he going to go to that chicane? Not quite. It's Alpine Ferrari, and now Lord Mahavir is interested in attacking Noodles. But Noodles is not going to allow that one to happen. And now Taipan is going to be a sitting duck once again here. And Noodles should be able to get past him with relative ease. And does, back into P3. Now he's just got Martin to go before he can chase after the lead. And this might not be as much of a problem now. He's only got one car to go. And he's going to slowly come alongside. He's got the inside line. He's further ahead this time though. Martin is unable to defend that one. And Noodles is back into P2 and now has a chase of 3.5 seconds to the RB, who's in the lead at the moment, as Taipan now picks up a 3-second, as does Clammy Kid, who's up to 6 now. And those penalties are starting to rack up for a lot of these drivers. And now it's up to Lord Mahavir. He's going to try and get through, and that is going to help because Taipan and Martin have had an incident, and it looks like Martin has got a bit of front wing damage. Yes, he has. And Taipan, I'm not sure about. Globdrip almost got sandwiched there. And yeah, Taipan has damage as well. So they've both picked up damage from that. And, oh, another bit of damage for Martin. Another snap out of the corner. So trouble for these two. I assume they're probably going to have to come into the pits because Martin is all over the track. But now this has allowed Lord Mahavir back into this. He's into P3 and he's just got Noodles in front. But here goes Oscar Piastri Goat. Some immense straight line speed from the other RB at the moment, and they are turning out to have a great race at the moment, the RBs, despite qualifying not being great for them. They are now P1 and P4 on the road, and Martin and Com United come into the pits, and Martin's come in to retire, so he's had enough of this one. So unfortunately one of the Ferraris is out. Taipan TJ decided to stay out at this stage. And there's a yellow in, I think that's just caused by Martin's retirement. United's in the pits as well. So Oscar Piastri Goat and Lord Mahavir now. The main battle going on track. Glob Drip is now chasing down Type N TJ, who has wing damage. And Noodles is not exactly gaining time to Campbell Adams at the moment. It's currently 4 seconds the difference. It was 3.5 about a lap ago. Noodles does have his front wing intact, and Campbell Adams does have damage, so he's doing very well at the moment. It looks like there's been a bit of a tangle with a Red Bull. Apex Stig it is had a moment at the hairpin. Manages to keep going though. We're over half distance in this race now, and Campbell Adams with a 4-second buffer to the Alpine of Noodles, who is losing time at the moment because Lord Mahavir is nearly back in that DRS. So not the greatest run at the moment, but Campbell Adams does have a 3-second penalty we have to remember, which could factor into later on in this race. And it's going to be a really intriguing one all the way to the end now, because Noodles looked like he was dominating this one. And now suddenly a challenge has arisen. And Campbell Adams going to try and make it back-to-back wins here from all the way down towards the back of the grid. I think it was 15th or 16th he started. And with a broken front wing. So this will be one of the more impressive drives we've seen in ORL this season. If he was able to pull this one off, and he's continuing to gain that gap. And Oscar Piastri Goat was gaining quite a bit on the Ferrari, but decided to pull out of that one. He's going to possibly have another chance into turn one, but the Ferrari's taken that corner well all day and continues to do so. As Type N now loses that place to Glob Drip. Is it time for Type N to come into the pits? He's going to stay out for now, but I think that's going to continue to cost him time as the race goes on. As Communite and Kuistra having a battle for 9th and 10th. Communite makes that move back past the Red Bull. And this is the intriguing battle. So Noodles with no penalties will actually get the penalties up while we're looking at it. 15 laps to go. Is Noodles going to be able to track Campbell Adams down at the moment? It's looking like a bit of a stalemate. But Noodles is going to be able to turn on the jets. Is he saving tyre wear for a big push at the end, or is he just not able to catch him at the moment? So kicking off lap 21 now, he's back within 4 seconds. Clammy Kid has now picked up another 3, so he's up to 9 now. And Lord Mahavir has a 3-second as well, which I didn't notice. So that has spiced that battle up now between him and Oscar Piastri Goat. Beautiful helicopter camera angle we've got here as well as Oscar Piastri Goat. We just saw there just go off the track, and now he's got 6 seconds worth of penalties. So penalties are a real problem. We saw this in Tier 2 today as well, to a bit of a worse extent than what we're seeing in Tier 1. But there's still quite a bit going on. Just Noodles and Oscar Piastri Goat makes it back past the Ferrari. And as I say it, Noodles does pick up a 3 seconds. So the man on pole position, it's now even Steven between him, the leader, and he's really got to work hard to get back into this one. You can see that gap is slowly being cut into. This is going to be a really enthralling battle, and we're going to all have our eyes glued to those timing screens to see if Noodles is able to pull this one back. So just Glob Drip, Apex Stig, Tata and Aiden without penalties, and Kuistra picks up another 3 seconds worth. So not the best day for that Red Bull after a pretty solid qualifying from him. Those 15 seconds are not going to get him very far in this race. And this battle continues on between Lord Mahavir and Oscar Piastri Goat. A great day so far for the RBs, continuing their Tier 1 dominance. As you see, they're about to make their way up to some back markers, which could complicate things a little bit. And here goes the Ferrari of Lord Mahavir. Absolutely flies past with the DRS back into third place. Nicely done. Is there going to be any response from the RB? I don't think so. Doesn't even have DRS, and the Ferrari has set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:11.3. So a statement's being made here. Is Lord Mahavir starting to pick up the pace and try and gain on these leaders? There's 12 laps remaining. And Noodles has slowly trimmed that gap down. It's now 3.2. It was 4 a couple laps ago. So I wonder if we could get the battle forecast graphic from Sky Sports to see how far away that battle could be, if it is to happen at all. It would be interesting to see. Obviously, we don't have a multi-million-dollar setup, but Noodles is slowly but surely cutting it down, but it looks like he's a little bit slower towards the end of the lap. Campbell Adams with the superior straight line speed, which is hurting Noodles quite a bit. And this battle and Communited and Coistra, the only real battles on the track at the moment. And Campbell Adams picks up another 3 seconds. So now the complexion of the race has changed again. It's all based on penalties. And Noodles is sitting on that 3-second gap. So now Campbell Adams is going to have to drive out of his mind here to try and hang on to this. Or pray that Noodles gets another 3 second. And now Glob Trip has a penalty. So nearly everyone's a victim. Apex Stig defiant in his penaltyless race so far. Currently in P8. And after penalties, he will move up a spot to P7. So not having penalties does pay off. And Noodles has now brought that gap down to 2.7. So all he has to do is drive without a penalty for the rest of this race. And he's going to be able to take home that win for Alpine. And it's a yellow on the first sector. It's a Red Bull. Apex Stig into the wall and front wing damage as well. So the man who doesn't have a penalty all race, but he's now hit the wall, he's probably going to have to come into the pits. And now he's got Communited and Coista right on his hammer. So that's a big shame for Apex Stig. Was running pretty well. But now we're going to have a look at the battle for P3 once again. Lord Mahavir. Still strong in his defence of Oscar Piastri Goat. Clammy Kid has dropped off the back of these two as well. It's very comfortable as Taipan TJ picks up another penalty. So the top 4 pretty much locked in. It's just whatever order they're going to finish in. As Noodles is now gaining quite significantly on Campbell Adams. Maybe those tyres were being pushed a bit too hard. It's now 2.3 the difference. As Noodles slowly starts to track that RB down with 10 laps to go on this one. All he has to do is avoid getting that next penalty, and this should be a relatively comfortable victory for Noodles, as we were saying, as Communited makes his way back past Coista. This battle's been pretty good as well between the Aston and the Red Bull. Everyone else with pretty decent gaps between one another. And Coista are now 18 seconds worth of penalties, so really not having the best day in regards to the pens. And now a great run for the Ferrari because Oscar Piastri Goat's dropped out of that DRS. But he's just got it still somehow. Must have just been inside of the detection zone. So he thought he had him dropped for the moment, but he's just been able to hang on And he'll stick close enough for another lap. We'll have a look at the tyre difference. You can see Taipan's still on those tyres that he pitted on from the first safety car. The rest on hards from the second safety car, so they'll make it home pretty easily. But Taipan is going to have his work cut out for him. And the gap from Campbell Adams to Noodles increased back to 2.7, so it's going a bit back and forth. But Noodles gains a lot of time through the first two sectors of the racetrack, so we'll see it here. We'll see the raw pace of the Alpine as we go on board with him. And there's another penalty for Oscar Piastri, so he's racking them up. We'll keep our eye on the race director to see if Noodles is close to another one or not. As you can see, a very extensive list. He does have two, Noodles. So one more warning for Noodles, and it's even Stevens again. So that might be why he's dropped off the pace a little bit, as Stig finally gets a penalty as well. So all the drivers that are still running in this race that aren't in AI have penalties. And there it is for Noodles. So he's picked up that 3 second as well. We're back to level playing field once again. And Noodles is going to have to make up that time unless there are more penalties to come. So 7-lap chase to the end for Noodles on the same age tyres. It's going to be a real challenge for him. Although I do not know how Campbell Adams has been able to go this long with front wing damage and still able to hold the Alpine off. It's been a marvellous performance, a drive of the day worthy performance if he can hang on from here for back-to-back wins for his team. He has done an absolute sterling job. But this is the number one battle. It looks like Lord Mahavir has that P3 locked in. The consistent run for the Ferrari continues, as long as he can bring it home to the end. But these two drivers, Noodles, yet to win a race. He's just had a P2 from the one race he's done this season. He'll be wanting to make it a first win of the season, not a second P2. And, oh, he's into the wall there. Avoided damage just, but look at the time loss. He's now 3.3 behind, so mistakes being made from the Alpine. He's trying to catch that RB, but it's just looking like too much of a tall order at this stage. So a really impressive drive from the RB today. And Oscar Piastri, just as we switch to him, picks up now 12 seconds worth of penalties. I don't think it's going to really hurt him too much as Globdrip now into the pits for a quick service, maybe a fastest lap attempt. And Taipan TJ looks like he's in as well. So no position loss for Globdrip there. Surprised he went on the mediums, probably could have gone on the softs. And Taipan TJ here is putting on the softs and getting a wing change as well. So I think they're both going for that fastest lap attempt. And so is Com United. He's getting a wing change. So everyone's coming to the pits. Coistra as well. 4 drivers have decided they've had enough of their tyres. So maybe that's a sign of things to come for the leaders. Are their tyres going to be able to make it all the way? It could be a bit nip and tuck. You can see starting to make mistakes. And Campbell Adams still going strong. End plate missing. No end plate, no worries for the RB at this stage. 3.2 the gap now. At its closest it was about 2 seconds. But ever since Noodles lagged out on that safety car, it just hasn't happened for him, and Campbell Adams is able to make an easy pass. And now all he has to do is just bring it home for 5 more laps without picking up another penalty. Easier said than done based off the evidence we've seen today. And I believe that's Com United behind him. A red-hot Com United. Might be trying to unlap himself. And he is trying to unlap himself. This could get a bit itchy for Campbell Adams. This is not exactly what he wants. And this has lost him about 5-6 tenths to Noodles. He is going to get DRS from this, but he is arguably probably faster on raw pace, even though Com United has new tyres, although it looks like he's able to pull away. But that overtake did cost him because he made a little bit of a mistake out of the chicane there. So Noodles, can he jump on this opportunity, as now Lord Mahavir has 6 seconds worth of penalties, so any chance of him snatching a P2 are now gone. But Campbell Adams has made up the difference here, but he's got 2 lap cars in front of him. And he has to awkwardly make his way through, but Noodles must have... Yeah, now Noodles is getting caught up as well. I think that's Apex Stig that's unlapped himself. Oh no, Koistra. So cars really getting in the way of the 2 front runners at the moment. Type N TJ with the fastest lap, Com United with a penalty for ignoring yellow flags, as he's staying in front of Campbell Adams at the moment. And he will be getting blue flags here, Com United, so he's obliged to make way. He's picked up a 10-second for it. I assume he's getting blue flags. I can't see them on the... Oh yeah, he's getting blue flags, so he does move out of the way. So, Campbell Adams, 3-second lead. 4 laps to go. And it looks like Noodles is going to be no match for him. Barring an absolute miracle or a late safety car, you'd think the RB is almost got this one home. 3.5 seconds the gap, and what an incredible race this has been. Noodles on top all day. Had pole position and was looking comfortable before that second safety car came out. And then that ended up costing him dearly in the end. There's been a yellow. Bit going on. I think there's a few lap cars involved in that. There's probably a few cars just slowing down, which caused the yellows. So podium looks pretty set here. Campbell Adams going to continue RB's winning rate in Tier 1. I think this is going to be their 7th or 8th win in Tier 1 for the season. That'll be their 7th. So out of 9 races, RB are going to win 7. That is a brilliant record. And while I was talking about how they might be in trouble in the overall Constructors' Championship with a couple of their drivers missing, they've come out and produced what can only be described as an unbelievable performance from about 14th on the grid, was it? 15th on the grid? 15th. So the back row of the grid come all the way through, and now entering the penultimate lap of the race. It's been a supreme performance. Noodles not giving up the chase yet. It's 3.2 the gap. As Oscar Piastri he's got a free pit stop, so he's going to come in. And he's going to try and nick the fastest lap off of Type N TJ, I believe, who currently holds it. Trying to get that extra point for RB. And a massive lock up there for Campbell Adams. So Noodles is going to gain a bit. He's gained about almost a second off that, so a little bit of late hope for the Alpine, but it's going to be probably too little too late as we're about to enter the last lap. Both of their tyres will be crying out for help. And it's only the top 3 that have stayed on them all the way. So just got one more lap of this track to navigate. Noodles 2.4 seconds behind. Is going to need a fatal error for the win to be spoiled from here. And this is going to be a victory lap for the RB. Just got to keep it in the track. And he is home and hosed. So what an afternoon. Lord Mahavir brings home the P3 after starting P2 on the grid. He got so close to pole position in that last lap. It was almost half a tenth the difference. We thought with Noodles messing up his final run that he could have nicked it off him, but wasn't able to in the end. Noodles was too quick for him, but Campbell Adams was too quick for both of them in the end. He's come from 15th on the grid, and he's about to bring home what will be described as one of the more remarkable ORL victories, and I think we've got a new titan of the league on our hands here. His second race in ORL, he's already celebrating. Not even down at the home straight yet. His second race in ORL, coming through the final chicane. He won last week. He's going to win again here in ORL. It's Campbell Adams for RB, bringing home 2 from 2 to start off his ORL career. An incredible result. And Noodles comes home 1.5 seconds behind. It was a great fight from the Alpine. A bit of bad luck cost him in the end. From pole position, he finishes second. So still a great fight from Noodles, but Campbell Adams gets the chocolates at the end of the day for a win and an incredible drive. One of the best we've seen all season, and a very well-deserved victory. He'll enjoy that one. Lord Mahavir and the Ferrari will round out the podium. He continues to just chalk up the points and continue holding that championship lead, which he will have into the next race as well. So sitting pretty at the moment. Oscar Piastri Goat brings home a P4 for RB. So a great team effort. And now they end up extending that Constructors' Championship lead. And a lot of the teams who are thinking they might have had an opportunity today, well, think again. RB are back on top and dominating the competition in Tier 1. Clammy Kid drove a great race to come P5. Taipan, with a bit of damage towards the end, wasn't able to finish as high as he would have wanted, but he'll take a P6. Apex Stig comes home in 7th. Globdrip in 8th. And then it was Communard and Coistra, so they round out the top 10. And I don't think anyone can disagree with that driver of the day. Campbell Adams from 15th to 1st has put on an absolute display for us in ORL today. An awesome finish and a well-deserved victory. 2 from 2 in their career. And there it is. What a great outcome. Taipan did grab the fastest lap on his way. A ton of penalties today, but it didn't come down to that in the end. It was Campbell Adams who took home that victory, and a well-deserved one at that as well. So thank you all for joining us this afternoon for round 9 of ORL. It's been another cracking afternoon of racing, and looking forward to seeing you next week at God knows what track. I'll have a look. Silverstone. So that'll be very interesting. But yeah, an awesome result. Campbell Adams gets the win for RB. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you same time next Sunday.